plans? And you mentioned sort of you got some work and an album or some stuff for next year planned.
Yeah, we're working on, well, two things really. I'm 3/4 of the way through. I keep saying this. I've been 3/4 of the way through it for about 6 months, and COVID's given me the opportunity and time to finish my solo acoustic album. I can do it in my own studio, but I've not. I also kind of feel like to be productive, you have to get yourself in the right frame of mind. And the whole COVID thing with the kids and this and that, and you know, it is not a great place for me to get into. Then go, I know, let's go and do something constructive in the studio.
Yeah.
So I'm now, the kids are back at school and everything's settling down a little bit, and you know, I've done some gigs and life's returning a little bit back to how it was. Yeah. Like I say, you know, there's thousands and millions of people that are worse off than me. But I mean, you know, people say that sentence a lot. Oh, there's people worse off than you. Yeah, of course there are. But these things still affect me. So I have my own reasons.
I agree with that. It's there's always people worse off, but you know, that doesn't diminish the effect it has on individuals. That's for sure.
Exactly. So it's, you know, it's like I say, I'm hoping in the next few months to finish my solo acoustic album. There's a very well-known guitar player from Holland. I think I mentioned to you before, and we're doing some co-writing, which is the first time I've ever done that. So I have to get my head around that. I've always been solo, and it's always my ideas, and no one has to question me, and no one says, well, what about this? What about that? And what about that? No, it's my way, and it's my song, it's my vision. So to get around and have someone else's input from the start, it also, like I say, I'm not great with change. I'm not great with new scenarios. So I have to get my head around that. But it's working. And so hopefully, I think probably sometime over the next year, we will finish this album, I guess, and then bring that out.
That sounds exciting, because I mean, I've only ever heard you playing electric blues, so playing an acoustic, that sounds fun. I mean, how does the songwriting process, does it differ, or?
No, not really, to be honest. I always used to either write all my songs on acoustic, or in the very beginning I wrote all my songs on piano.
All right, so you play piano as well?
Yeah, well,
oh, right.
To a degree, but then so I write all my songs on piano, and then just change them onto guitar, and not have piano on any of my albums.
Right.
So that's how. Yeah, I mean, the first album completely was wrote on piano, and then like transposed to guitar. So, like I said to you the other day, I think we were talking about effects and stuff. Is that if a song can't stand up with just one person and acoustic guitar, then forget it.
Yes. Yeah. That's right.
So, you know, I'll quite often go back and just play, even if I've come up with a great, you know, or what I think is a great guitar riff or whatever it is, I'll go and put there's always underlying acoustic guitars on my album now.
Yeah. And do you have effects for acoustic, or?
Not really, just loads of reverb, to be fair. Well, not loads, but just reverb, you know, generally. I've not really gone down the effects for acoustic guitars, and I've just landed a great endorsement with a company. I think they're Latvian, but they're basically knocking these guitars out, and they're, well, I've played some great Taylors and I've played some great Martins, and they're not at the top of the Martin range, of course, because you're talking 10, 20 grand, but they're definitely in the 4, 5, 6 grand Martin range.
Yeah.
And they've given me for free the top of their range 6-string and the top of their range 12-string.
Yeah.
Just said, oh, if you're going to play it on the theatre tour, then that's the greatest gift we could have. So here you are. I think I worked out it was like 4.5 grand in guitars. Here you are. That's just for you.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah. Fine. So they're featuring on virtually every song that I write now because they sound amazing.
Well, I've got a Faith acoustic, which was by Patrick Hegel, but made in the Czech Republic. And it sounds fantastic. It's made brilliantly. Sounds great. Really like it. It's good quality. I mean, if you hold it up compared to Takamine or something like that, there's a difference. First, there's a weight difference.
Yeah.
You know, so that's the first noticeable thing. But a lot of these manufacturers like that, and in those places, in those countries, are knocking out some fantastic.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, absolutely. Absolutely, and I mean the level of work is great, and the woods that they're finding is also great. So it's, you know, Yeah, it's just, I guess labour's a bit cheaper. We shouldn't be saying that, but I guess it is, so it makes it a little bit cheaper. So why not?
Yeah.
You know.
So to finish off, what's with COVID maybe kind of out of the way, and let's kind of forget COVID a bit. What's the plans what have you got planned for the future? Where do you see yourself 2-3 years time? What you're hoping for?
Well, I mean, we're writing these albums, of course, so that's going good. And the good thing about it at the minute is that this guy on the TV, because that all kind of stops. I mean, it's like a football-based program. This program, and it all kind of stopped with the season being over, but it starts back again on the 28th of September, funny enough, which is my wedding anniversary. And we've been asked again. I've already featured it twice. I mean, if you Google Sean Webster, I think it's called Veronica Inside, you'll see the TV show itself.
Right.
Basically, we have to do like the interlude bits, and then we have to do a song or two throughout the show. And I've done that 2 or 3 times, but it goes out to like 2.5-3 million. And we're doing that again on the 28th September. And the good thing about that is that it really can enhance your, well, it definitely, there's no better publicity than being on TV, of course. So the guy said to us that he wants us to do it a bit more often, so that's good. We can get on TV and do a bit more often. And we're just going to hope that, you know, the gigs and the gig fees are going to get better, which I think they are. They already are doing. And that we can try and look at doing some tours and getting back onto it. Because, you know, you go on a tour and it's a lot of driving, a lot of messing about, a lot of late nights, a lot of in and out of hotels, a lot of getting up at crazy o'clock to have breakfast. And that's the funny thing. I hardly ever eat breakfast, hardly ever, when I'm at home. But when I'm on tour, I never miss breakfast, ever. So I can get in at 4. Getting at 4 and they say breakfast at 8. Yeah, all right, fine, whatever. So it's whatever it is. But you miss it. It's like everyone's saying, you know, we won't complain about the gig fees anymore. We won't complain about, I don't know, having no dressing room. We won't complain about people talking in the audience. We just want an audience.
Yeah.
You know, there's so many question marks over, but like say, you know, one day the COVID thing will be, we will be controlled. Of course, when the vaccine comes, I think that's the only control that will end the whole thing. And it's just a case of getting out, and doing some albums. You know, keep getting out and playing, because that's you know, that's it's not what I live for, but it's a massive part of who I am. And I even tried to stop playing once, and it lasted, I think, 2 months.
2 months?
Yeah.
I'm surprised it lasted that long.
Well, I was just like, I'm done with music. I'm gonna sell all my gear and do this and quit, and you know, and just stay getting whatever. In 2 months, and my girlfriend or whatever it was at the time said, "You've got to get a band because you're sending me mental."
Yeah. Do you know what? I think we've all ran that sort of scenario through your head.
Yeah.
The amount of times I've said to myself, I've had enough, I'm going to sell my gear, that's it, you know, but you never do. And
no, I mean, the thing is, it also is different, you know, when you make that transition to being professional, that you know, if someone said to me right now, I've always had a love-hate relationship with music on the whole. Really, I absolutely adore it, and I basically can't live without it because it's in my makeup, and so I love it in that way. But I hate the fact that it takes me away from my family. So I hate that fact. But if someone said to me now, you know, someone said to me a long time ago, you should play music just for the love of it, and I thought, oh, okay, well, back then, I think I'd have been about 17, 18. I thought, well, maybe they've got a point. But if you said it to me now, I want you to play music live. It sounds really conceited, but it's not. If you want you to play now and you're never going to get paid, I would literally sell all my gear tomorrow. Because it is a job. It's not a hobby. This is what I chose as a career. And I'm lucky enough to get paid and you know, sometimes really well. But it does cost me something to go and do it, you know, either on a personal level or on a family level or whatever it is, or on a mental or even a heart-based level. It costs me to go and do it, but it's not a hobby for me anymore. It's a career choice. But I need to be paid to do it. You know,
of course, yeah,
that's why, to be fair, occasionally, well, I don't do it anymore, but I used to, when I would go out for a few beers with some friends, more so in England, when you'd go into a pub and there's a karaoke on. And everyone's like, you've got to get up and sing. I said, no, I'm not getting up and sing. You've got to. You'll blow them away. I said, look, people pay me good money to sing. I'm not going to do it for free. So I normally would have a few beers and get up anyway, but still, the idea is that whole thing, which is another reason why I've not done a single live stream, because I think I told you before, I don't understand why people are almost one step above begging to do this live stream, and then when the COVID's over, they'll say, all right, okay, the gig fees are now 15, 20 quid to get in. Well, we've just watched you for free for the last 6 months. Why do we need to pay?
Yeah, well, I was going to ask that question, but you've answered it. I was going to talk about the sort of live streaming and stuff like that, which some of the artists are doing, and
a lot of them are doing. And it's only now towards as long as it is now with the COVID, is that the organisers of them are saying, okay, let's do paid live streaming so people can actually make some money. All right, well, it's one step better than begging, or one step better than the time before, but still, no. I've been lucky enough to do some gigs, and we did Jesus Christ, we did a gig the other day. We did a trio in a church, me, the kind of semi-famous guitar player, and a harmonica player who's played with everyone from the Doobie Brothers to, everyone. He was playing with like loads of famous people. Trio, and the tickets were €50, and it sold out 2 nights.
Wow!
And I was like, €50 to see us play? They were like, yeah. And I said, what? Wow, okay. Well, I'm honoured. I kind of feel a bit ashamed in a way, but €50 is a lot of money. I won't pay €50 to go and watch Bonamassa play. Never mind us do a trio in a church, acoustic guitars. So yeah, people are just. Luckily enough, the people are desperate to get back to live music. I think people would almost pay €50 to go and watch a Punch and Judy show.
Yeah, well, it's kind of what you're saying before. It's no matter. We put a lot of work in and stuff at home and stuff. I know it's very different for someone like me, but the end result is we want to play in front of people.
Yeah,
that's what we get the buzz from. And I complain about playing live sometimes and carrying my gear in and stuff like that.
Yeah. Never again.
At the end of the night, and having a pint of beer nearly spilled over my pedal board and everything else, and all those frustrations.
Yeah,
I'd love it this weekend.
Yeah.
If I had the option to go and take all my gear down to one of the local music venues, I'd be there.
Yeah, of course.
That audience participation and playing for people is what we do it for.
Yeah, you can't. It's irreplaceable. I can't think of anything else that I've done in my life that comes close to that buzz that you get. It's different, kids being born or that sort of thing, or being married, but that buzz. I tell a story sometimes that we once did a festival, an outdoor festival. We were headlining a festival in Poland, in a place called Gdynia, which is in the north. And it was on the beach, or kind of on the beach. There was the festival, big stage, 5,000 Polish people, summer's day, and to the left was a little bit of a beach, and then the sea. And in part of my set, I do a song called "I'd Rather Go Blind" by Etta James, and I do a part in it. And it's not on the live album, but you can Google it or YouTube it. And I step away from the microphone and I sing with the guitar virtually off, and just my vocals as itself. And I'm getting to this part, and I'm thinking in my head, this is probably about 8 years ago now, in my head thinking, this is never going to work. The audience is massive. No one's going to hear me. But I thought, well, it's part of the show, so this is what I'll do. So I stepped away from the mic, turned my guitar virtually down, closed my eyes, started singing this thing, and 5,000 Polish people, silence. And the only thing I could hear was my own voice and the waves crashing on the rocks and then going back into the ocean. And I still, even now, in fact, I've told this story 100 times, if not more, and I still get goosebumps thinking about it. Wow. You can't replace that. You can't get that anywhere else. You can't. There's nothing to.
I think I remember seeing watching an interview with Santana, and he was saying that, talking about that, and that how music affects us as people, and he was saying that we're made up of molecules and atoms and everything else, and he said, well, if you turned a drummer's cymbal upside down and filled the drummer's cymbal with sand and played music, all those grains of sand would vibrate and they'd move, and it affects all those molecules. He said we're no different, and that's the effect that music has.
It's universal, but And and that's why I can't stop.
Yeah. Well, look, Sean, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you.
Appreciate it.
It's been there's been a lot of buzz on the forum,
Cool.
you know, in anticipation for the interview. So,
Great.
and it's been really nice to talk to you. So.
No, I really appreciate that. You can. I don't know if you're going to put this on the thing, but you can always. I think most of my or some of my albums are available on the website to buy, and we'll send them out with signed or whatever. So
yeah, absolutely. Well, we'll be definitely be putting up all the links and your Spotify links and things like that.
Perfect.
To have a look at your music, and I said anybody that's a fan of blues or that type of music, and Joe Bonamassa. John Mayer, check out Sean Webster. Great guy, great music. So
great, man. Appreciate it. Well, stay in touch, and we'll do this again soon.
Yeah, absolutely. Cheers.
Nice one.
All right.
Cheers, mate. All right. See you soon then.
See you.
Bye. Bye.